Well, first, let me say welcome back to Taking Off with That's Mike, and I'm Jen. We have some friends, special friends with us this morning, Paul and Dezirae Estes. Hi, guys.
Happy to be here.
Now, we've known them a really long time through our church, like many, many, many years.
Yeah.
20s, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Pre-marriage.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. But because we have different, as life goes on, you have different stages of life. Our kids are older, this, that, and the other. We have not had the pleasure of getting super close with them on a day-to-day basis. So we're thrilled that you guys came on. Yeah, and we know that you guys have great stories and you're great people and have kids, and we can't wait to hear all about it. So tell us a little bit about who you are. It rolls into how long have you been married and how did you meet and just anything. And then we have some good questions for you guys.
Yeah. What jobs do you have?
Yeah.
Just tell the audience, why and who are these people and how can they help us?
Other than they are both fantastic singers. Let me just say that. Okay, Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I'm Desiree, and Paul and I have been married for 20 years. We've been together since I was 19, and I'm 44, so we've been together a long time.
Yes.
Let's see. I own a real estate photography business. I don't really work it very much, but my sister-in-law takes a lot of the pictures, and she goes around all of Atlanta and Georgia, and she kind of is the face of that for me. And we have three boys. Homeschooled all of them until 9th grade, and Nash is my only lonely one left still at home.
How old are they?
Bowen is 19, Judson is 17, and Nash is 14.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's interesting how we met, actually. So I was at a church at the time and doing some singing, and one of the people there said, "Hey, there's an opening for a singing group. They're looking for a singer." And I was like, "Okay." So they gave me the number. I called. I went to the audition. Well, when I walked into audition, as I was walking in, this girl come busting out the doors, just bawling her eyes out. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh! I hope she's okay." Like it was like she looked like she was just awfully
bad shape.
Yeah, bad shape. And about that time, I look back, and Desiree comes busting through the doors with this look on her face of like something had happened. They were in a girl group together, and they had a fight or a disagreement. And Desiree come busting through, and she was. I guess
not crying.
Not crying. Yeah, let's just say that. Yeah. And I was like, holy cow. And I remember she looked at me as she walked by me. She looked at me with just this look of like, I'm about to rip somebody's head off.
My God.
Well, to me, I'm just telling my perspective.
I love it.
And I was like, I could never date that girl. Like, that's exactly what I thought in my brain. Awesome. That was my first time I had ever seen her of anything. And long story short, I went in, auditioned, made the group, was part of the record company that her group was in.
Okay.
And we traveled together and
get out of here.
We tried to make it big all together. Meanwhile, we did a lot together through, I guess that was 2000 up until about 2003. And we weren't supposed to date within the record company, and we didn't care. We did anyway.
From the day that you said, I could never date that girl, to the day that you dated her, how long was that?
6 months, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Took 6 months.
Because it was April of 2000, and then we started dating right before her birthday in October of 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
That's so funny. I never knew any of that story.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I really probably wouldn't have dated her then, but she was chasing me like crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that actually happen?
They like to say that.
Did you see him
literally
that time when you were chasing that girl away? And
No,
say,
I don't.
Even recall?
I recall the
Fight?
scenario with the young lady, which wasn't really a fight. Let me just retract that whole. She was having a moment, and I just was trying to help. I probably just have that RBF face, and it just looked like I was angry with her, but I was not.
I will
wasn't.
attest, she has the Arby face.
So that is what happened. But no, I didn't see him at the time, and truthfully, Paul was never originally like my type.
Okay.
I dated very sharp, put together, tall,
like GQ-ish.
basketball player, like
can I say Guido-ish?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, like Jersey Shore.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
that is
Yes.
not true.
Jersey Shore.
But they, you
That's
know,
awesome.
like Armani, like they just had this
Yeah, I know the look.
look. And
GQ.
so, yeah, the very just GQ, very handsome, very just put together very nicely.
So what are you saying?
There's just so much to unpack
It
there.
is.
There's so much, and
So I
it
met
just
Paul,
started.
and literally, he like wore the same camo shorts like every time I saw him. They were the same camo shorts, and but when we would be together, he was so funny. He made me laugh like nobody else.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time I was living with two of my girlfriends, and they were like, "Do you like him?" And I was like, I don't even know. Do I like him? I think I do. Like, I like being around him.
I don't want to,
but I don't really
do.
want to look at him because
I have a poll.
he's wearing the same pants
Oh my God.
every time I see him, and it bothers me.
funny.
It irks me. And so just finally, one day, really and truly, I didn't come to know the Lord until I was a senior in high school. So, and I had met Paul shortly after I became a Christian. I met Paul, and I knew that he was different from the other boys that had been in my life. So I really was attracted to that part of him, and that kind of overtook what I thought in my brain. I mean, I think you're adorable, and I wouldn't want to be with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But for where I was in my life, and what I thought was important at that time, it was more like, you know, what?
Good luck.
Yeah.
I love that. How God knew.
Yeah.
It's like, you might
absolutely.
think you like this, but this
Yeah.
is what I know you really want.
Yeah. And there might have been what he perceives as like a chasing, because once I knew that the Lord was like, "That's your man," I was like, "That's my man." So, and he was like dating like other chicks and stuff, and I was mad. Like I was upset about
she'd
it.
show up. We'd be part of this young adults at our church, West Street, and I planned the events for the young adults that I was a part of, and we'd go on these events, and she'd end up.
I'd
right
make sure I
beside
was
me.
there.
We had our family picture.
Even though
of my
he was
mom.
there with
She was
Bianca,
there.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
freaking Bianca. Like Paul's like, we're
Bianca
going
out.
caving, and I'm not. I don't
Yeah.
want to cave.
Right.
Like,
But
I
you're
don't.
gonna.
But you're
I
going.
went.
She did.
That's right.
And I did. And I went through that fat man squeeze and all the things. And I hated my whole life the entire time that I was there. But I was not. I was going to be there.
That's
in
so-
his, he was going to see me.
So it sounds like
That's
so
so
far
funny.
you have a very competitive nature.
I do. Is that terrible?
No,
No.
it's good, but I can
No.
just see it oozing out of you.
Yeah,
This
I
very
do.
competitive
Yes.
from
I like
that
to win.
girl story to now this girl
Yeah.
story.
Yes.
Very,
Served
very
us
good.
well in our marriage, though.
It really has.
Because
yeah.
that has
both
been,
of us are kind of that
sometimes that has been the only thing that's kept us together. Is like, oh, well, we're
way.
not
The will to
quitting.
win.
we're not quitters.
You know what? That's
That's
a good
awesome.
point. That's a super good
Love
point. And if you've listened to our podcast, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I'm not going to be defeated, even though
Mhm.
this is really an awful situation that we're in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let Satan win on this one.
Right.
No matter how sucky this is, I'm going to beat that.
Yeah.
Even though this isn't good.
Yeah.
And that competitive nature. That's pretty cool.
I
like
tell my
that.
boys that all the time. Make sure you find somebody that has the will to win.
No, that's good. That's
Like-
super good.
That's great advice.
Yeah. Because if you give up and you don't want to win,
Mhm.
you can just walk out the
That's
door.
right.
Yeah.
Right?
Anybody
So that's
can
There's
good.
a lot
Yeah.
of quitters.
Oh, yeah.
I love
A lot
that.
More quitters than winners.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, this is kind of an airline-y type feel to it, and I use baggage and turbulence because it's a relationship podcast and so forth. So I'm going to tell you a story
Okay.
about some baggage that we just had to offload in Johannesburg, South Africa. So we're in South Africa, and it's their summer right now, and so it's hot. Johannesburg, South Africa is high elevation, so all that has to do with how good is your airplane going to perform in order to fly. Lift. aircraft power, et cetera, et cetera. And just like in our relationship, from the time that we met and how much baggage that we have had to unload so much baggage. It's ridiculous, or we wouldn't get to where we are today.
Right.
And so we're in Johannesburg. We're at the gate. There's people that want to go. There's bags that want to go. There's freight that wants to go. Who are you going to take first? Hopefully not the bags, the people, right? But you're going to have to start pairing off in order to get to Atlanta because it's a 16-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't working so well. We had to take the people. We had no bags on board, 0. We took them all off, all freight off. And we still couldn't get to Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to land short in San Juan, Puerto Rico for fuel.
Wow.
And so the whole point on that story is when we got married, and this is what we want to hear out of you, the baggage that you brought into your relationship, how much of that have you had to offload in order to get to where you are today? Because, it's not fun to not carry your baggage, right? I mean,
right.
You
kind of become used to it.
You get used to it. It's who
Good and
you
bad.
are.
Right.
You don't want to leave it behind, but yet it could be the best thing for you. So, like my first question is, your mom and dad, were they married? Was your mom and dad married when you were growing up as a teenager, from 0 to say 18 before you left the house? And the same with you. And then there's always baggage, and sometimes we don't see it. That's where, for the audience, I want them to kind of reflect and say, do I have baggage? And what does that mean? How has that affected my relationship? Like, what is it? Am I carrying this stuff? Some baggage is great. Some is just terrible. Right. What has that been for you guys with looking from, okay, my mom and dad, this is what I dealt with when I was little. This is what they taught me. This is what they maybe shouldn't have taught me. Kind of both you guys talk about that just so that the audience can see, all right, I'm normal. This is what I had, or at least from a reflective standpoint, maybe I need to, look into that. Tell me about that.
Well, I can say that my parents were married growing up. They're still married. I think they've been married for 55 years, maybe now.
Okay.
Growing up, for me, I thought I had a perfect childhood.
Okay.
I thought everything was perfect. My parents didn't drink. My parents didn't smoke. My parents always got along. They traveled together. They worked together. It wasn't until I was about 17, 18 that I started figuring some things out.
Right.
Like that, and a lot of that was them hiding because they didn't want to do it in front of us, or they didn't want to, they didn't want to argue. I probably saw my parents really argue probably 2 or 3 times my whole life, and and then as I became older, I started seeing some of the imperfections that I guess I was blinded to. I'm not sure how I didn't during those times, but it kind of crushed me in a way, pretty bad, that I found out that my parents weren't perfect.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think my parents did a really good job with us as kids, and so much that I tend to want to do a lot of the same things they did.
Sure.
Because I really do overall think they did a really good job with us. As I have 2 brothers.
Okay.
So there was 3 boys, and
You're the oldest?
I'm the oldest, and so I kind of have the same thing with my kids because I have 3 boys, and as well, and so there's some things that I wanted to do, and there's things I don't want to do the same. Not to say that what they did was, because we're all doing what we're doing best. The best we can with with what we know. Our intentions with your kids are never bad.
No,
and you do have sweet parents. We love the Estes.
Oh yeah, y'all know my parents. So I think they've been great through the process. Some of the baggage that I brought with that was expectations of what it's going to look like when we get married, and it should look the same, very similar to the same.
Because that's what you're used to.
Because that's what I'm used to. I didn't realize you had something different here. You had something different here, and how hard it is to intertwine these things, and become something totally different.
Yeah.
I didn't really, although I knew that was going to happen, because my parents were. They prepared us for that. Basically, it ain't a Disney movie, son. it's going to be probably one of the toughest things you ever done. And, I kind of knew that going in versus I think that's different from today because a lot of parents they let their kids think that it's going to be a Disney movie, And my parents were like, heck no, it ain't a Disney movie, So I kind of knew what to expect coming in, but the baggage that I brought with that was the expectation of the woman's role and the man's role. And if the woman's not doing the woman's role, then
we got problems.
If the man's not doing the man roles, then we got problems.
Yeah.
And that's the way I expected it. And to this day, I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
With that, with those expectations.
Yeah.
So I think that's the baggage that it's brought.
Sure.
It's probably a big percent of the baggage that she's had to deal with for the longest, I would guess. That's come from me, not her. So
she has stuff to say.
Oh, I know she does.
She's like a horse that's right in the gates.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Go.
That's why I went
Go.
So she can correct me because usually she's right.
I love it.
Usually she's right. So if I go first, she can set it straight.
Well, what I think is so amazingly hilarious that the Lord put us together is that his mother, who I adore, and I we're total opposites.
Okay.
I mean, so he has this view of like, this is how this works. And, Peggy's just an easier woman than I am, and that's probably from my own upbringing and my own baggage that I bring to the table. So my parents were not together. My parents divorced before I was 2. I was raised by my mom, who was a single parent for a very, very long time. And, being raised by a single mom, my mom always told me, look, you only get 50% of the deal. So you have to take care of yourself. Like you have to be self-sufficient and take care of yourself because the shoe could drop at any time. You can't count on a man. Like you can't count on a man.
Her baggage is coming out while she's raising you.
Yeah,
sure.
So I just was a very independent woman. And I am still a very independent woman. So when Paul has this idea of like how things should go, I felt very bossed.
Right.
And I just don't want to be bossed. Like I run my own business. Like I really don't want anybody to tell me what to do. Like I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I'm sure nobody's like that but me.
No. You're on your
So for
island.
me, here we are, and God put us together, and we're like just clashing from the jump.
For sure.
And of course, yes, you have this whole idea. And I thought, just from previous relationships that I had, that he was going to be this like doting, like I was just
Disney.
Yeah.
Not even just Disney, but like I literally just thought that when I walked into the room, he was going to think, oh my God, there she is.
Right.
Like she's mine.
Every
I can't even believe this. Every day.
And music, you would hear music play.
Like there is a beautiful romantic background every time I walk in.
With birds landing on you.
So maybe not Disney, but at least Hallmark, right?
Yeah.
At least Hallmark.
Yeah, we can go there.
Yeah.
And, for the first several years, I mean, when we first got married, like literally right after the honeymoon, I thought,
during the honeymoon.
oh my God, I made a mistake. Like, holy crap. What am I doing? Because then everybody told me.
That was actually the second day of our honeymoon.
Man, you started off like we did.
It's
Jeez
terrible.
Louise.
God, it's terrible. It made me want to cry
it was
to think about it now, like to really think about it.
Right.
Because when we got home from our honeymoon, literally, like I had bags packed just sitting at the front door that he could just walk in the door and see my stuff just chilling there. Like, well, I guess she's going to leave me.
Right after the honeymoon.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I couldn't have married the right person. Like this has to be wrong. Like I can't have any friends anymore. I can't, because I had a lot of friends. I worked, I waited tables. I was a bartender. I had a lot of guy friends, had a lot of girlfriends, and I'm like the party, like, let's go. Like, what are we doing? I love being around people. I'm energized by being with people. And then it was like, oh, you're married. Well, you can't hang out with anybody anymore. And I was like, what? I can't hang out with my friends anymore? Now I'm going to be in this country bumpkin just out here. I can't do anything. And all he wants me to do is cook him dinner. And I don't even know how to cook. Like, I mean, it was like this is a nightmare. Like, I just thought we're failing already.
Right.
It's not going to work. And because not even really my will to win as much as I was so fixated on appearances. I wanted to do whatever I needed to do to be able to walk out the door so that everybody could say, Dezirae gave it her all. Dezirae did everything she could do. So I met with, do you remember the Pipers?
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so Joel and Belinda Piper, literally Belinda Piper's like the angel sent to heaven.
Yeah.
To heaven to me. From heaven to me. And she sat with me and we went through just these counseling. She was like, okay, let's meet. We came to the church. They sent us to Joel and Belinda because we're clearly not going to make it. And I'm like, okay, how many of these do I have to go to before I can be done?
Right. Save face.
And so now I'm here and I'm meeting with Belinda, and she's such a quiet, like she's such an opposite personality than me, but she's
so tender.
very strong. Okay. And I think that after so many sessions with me, she was just like, you've made up your mind. So there's no reason for us. She said, but I have one challenge for you. And you know me, I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. I'll take the challenge. And she told me, she said, I want you for the next 30 days. We're not going to meet for 30 days. She said, I want you every single morning to put your feet on the floor. And before you even get out of the bed, I want you to say out loud that the man laying beside you is God's plan and provision for your life. She was like, I just want you to say it every single day. I know you don't feel it. I know you're ready to get out of here, whatever. She said, but I want you to say it out loud every single day. She was like, will you promise me you'll do that for 30 days? And I was like, I will do that for 30 days. I didn't make it 30 days. And the Lord just changed my whole heart on how I viewed Paul. Didn't mean it was perfect. Right. And we've had many run-ins since then, but something shifted in me at that moment. Like something just internally shifted, and not only shifted, but like anchored me in that space.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah, I do. I love Linda. She mentored me too. Yeah. Love her.
Totally changed your spirit.
Totally.
That's so cool.
Just that little bit of truth.
And now, 20-something years later.
Just repeating that little bit of truth over and over again.
I love that.
Even though I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't even believe it. But that just goes to show that truth was able to change and shift me at a completely different level.
And it goes to so much because a lot of us aren't taught. I mean, everyone thinks, I don't really love him anymore. I don't feel it. Everything's a feel. Parents don't seem to be teaching their kids. Love is a choice. Yeah. When you meet someone initially, it's, I lust you. I physically want you. You're attractive.
Right.
That's about it. That's about it. So then when you get deeper and you get married and you have that covenant and that commitment, there's many times where I've gotten to a point, we don't do it as much anymore, but back in those days, where I would say, I don't like you at all. Like I feel nothing for you.
Yeah.
Like I do. I feel literally nothing for you.
Yeah.
And
I'm abused. I'm so abused.
And yet I'm going to stay married to you because that's what we're to do and it's going to work out. But in that moment, it's just like, I feel no oogly googlies at all.
Right.
No, you gross me out. No.
Did you, now how long was that after the honeymoon?
2 days.
That you started hanging out with Belinda and you did this 30-day challenge?
Well, I can say we went through about 5 years of I went through five years of just her leaving me every day. So
not literally.
But like it was 5 for me. It was 5 years, really long 5 years. Let's just put it that way. Mm-hmm. So I would say you probably met with her the whole time, or probably close.
Wow.
I would say the best thing we did was probably instead of seeking people to understand us, we sought, not knowing, we sought people that would speak truth into our life versus people that understood us.
Sure.
And I think that's probably the one thing we both did correctly and it wasn't just one it wasn't just one of us doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we both did that.
We had good mentors.
Yeah.
Well, what I like about that is counseling is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's not hard, it's probably not doing anything
Right.
because it's not getting to the core of where the issues are.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people, I've given this analogy so many times, you know, during September 11th, people would jump out of the towers. Actually jump
Yeah.
because the heat was so hot. And they would rather jump than deal with the heat, right? It was
Right.
just terrible. And that's where a lot of people are like, the heat is so hard when I go to counseling.
Yeah.
I'm just out of here.
Right.
And obviously it's two different things, right?
Mhm.
Right.
You actually go to counseling and you can deal with the heat and you can get to those issues and you
Mhm.
can get repaired. But a lot of people don't want to do that. And,
Right.
you know, we had a very difficult time. It was just
Yeah.
like hearing your story because I've never heard this story before.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
it's
It's
a little
very
mirror.
parallel.
Oh,
It
yeah.
It's
is.
very, very
I did not
parallel
know that.
where
And I remember
the
seeing
fighting
them
at a
as new marrieds.
Right.
well,
And
you
they
don't
seemed
know.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem fine. You put
Of
on
course,
the
we had
face,
little
right?
kids.
I
At the
remember
time,
y'all's
we were
story
doing
when
our
y'all
own
did
thing.
y'all's story one night. Me and Des were like, dude, they're like very similar to
Yeah, you guys,
know.
I never knew that. I love
Fighting
that.
on your honeymoon. I mean, that's
Mhm.
insanity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Should be the best
It
time.
was so weird too, because on the honeymoon, she walked in the room. I was in the room. She said, I think I made a mistake. And I was like, I bawled my eyes out for about, I don't know, an hour maybe. And then she was like, you want to go have a good time? I'm like, yeah, let's go have a good time. So we got up and we ended
whack.
up
I know
rocking
it.
that whole, we ended up rocking the whole place. I mean, had a good time
We
together.
did have the best time.
But it was like,
Oh gosh, false
it was
pretense.
so strange.
But you hung in there.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's such encouragement for people who are listening
Huge.
is to,
It's huge.
it sounds so wacky and such a reason to give up,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
you did not. Because,
Right.
like, for us, our story was divorce isn't an option. We're going to make this work.
Mhm.
It sucks going through this right now,
Right.
but we're going to continue to go to counseling, deal with this baggage, open it up, see
Mhm.
what kind of dirty underwear in there,
Mhm.
and deal with it and
And
get
I-
rid of the old and put
Mhm.
some new stuff in there.
And I think, like what you said, like Belinda saw in Des that she was just going through the motions, so she could just say, "Look, I tried. I went saw Belinda. I tried."
She saw right through it.
Oh, for sure. But she still gave her the hard truths. Whereas there's a lot of people who we have even mentored at times. And basically we've said, go to count, and they go through the motions, but deep down they're not doing it. And then
Right.
you sort of call them out gently or in love.
Mhm.
And it either turns them around or a couple of couples in our case, they basically didn't want to hang out with us anymore because we had to speak truth
Mhm.
in love.
Right.
And
That's tough.
if you don't
Some-
want to go to counseling or have a mentor, then don't. But don't just waste everybody's time and
Mhm.
appease.
Right.
So I think that's that's
Timing is
super good.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you said 5 years, you hung in there,
Yeah.
and then
That's-
30-day
wow.
challenge,
Yeah, I
and all of a
love that.
sudden, after 5 years, it clicks for you, and it just happens. Did you notice it? Like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
You-
It
you
know-
happened well, for a long time, I thought it was something I did, but I didn't realize.
Oh, you were taking credit for it.
Yeah, because I
see. I see. I see where
it
this
got
is
to the
going.
point
Why
where
not?
I was like, I just started telling her, like, well, stop threatening me, just leave. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
he did.
I'm
He
tired
did
of the
say that.
threats, and about the time I started doing that, it kind of changed. So for years, I thought, well, man, I just need to put my foot down.
Right.
Well,
And I think it did help, but I don't think. I didn't realize what was going on in her heart and stuff all at the same time.
So wait, I'm not doing my math right, or I'm just bad at math. But wait, Bowen, he's your oldest,
yes.
and he's how old again?
19.
Okay, so you
I
had
got
a little one.
married.
You had a little one when
Yeah.
you were still going through the battle.
Oh,
we got
yeah.
pregnant 3
Which-
months after we were married.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, because in my mind I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we had our
Whoa.
first anniversary
Which is
November
not
6th,
easy,
and then
too.
Bowen was born November 12th.
Dang.
Our first
Yeah.
year right after our 1 year anniversary.
Okay, so then you had that to
So
deal
she
with.
did
which-
want to be married to me at the honeymoon, I guess you could say.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, stop.
What were you gonna say, Des?
Well, I'm just saying that for me, some of that baggage just from, I think that there was a part of me in the beginning of our marriage that thought it wasn't going to work out. Like I just had this preconceived notion that because I only got 50% of the deal, that this isn't going to work out. So I never fully gave my heart
Right.
in that kind of a space.
You
I kept
protected it
thinking,
a little bit.
yeah, I kept thinking it's not going to work out. So I almost went on this like total rebellion to do whatever I could do so that if he was going to leave me, he would do it sooner than later.
Right. I got it.
Oh,
Because-
It's like a self-sabotage.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
exactly a self-sabotage because I just thought it's not going to work out. And I don't want to go down this road for 20 years and then it not work out.
Yeah.
So if you're going to leave me, let me just be a total punk
Yeah.
and leave me. And he, it literally, I mean, he says 5 years, but I feel like it was at year 7 that my spirit was like, oh my God, he really is in this. Like, he's
Right.
not going to leave me. I've shown him the most horrific, worst parts of me, and he is still here.
Right.
And so then that was like a second shift. Like, I went through this whole thing with Belinda where my heart shifted, but then at the same time, I still was dealing with this baggage of, well, it's probably not going to work out.
Right.
So then I just was a total lunatic. And then at year 7 is when I was like my heart almost like broke that I realized I've wasted so much time and he's not just ready to leave me. And he has had every reason. At
And
this.
thankfully, I never threatened it. I think that helped a lot. Like, I never threatened I was leaving. I never spoke of
Never.
divorce. I never.
Wow.
And I did all the
said
time.
I would
Yeah.
never.
And I did
And
all
I
the
think
time.
that helped her
Sure.
to finally realize.
Yeah, it
you know,
did.
The foundation.
some things.
Well, there's a dynamic there for sure. Like,
Oh my gosh,
when
that's so. I just feel like I'm listening to the same story but different.
as far as you and
Oh
us
yeah,
and
yeah.
so forth.
Because Michael, he was the one who said, we'll stay married, go have your affairs, do what you want, but I will not ever leave you. I've never had a person tell me they weren't leaving me.
Right.
Like everybody left me.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was kind of the same thing.
Mhm.
He actually fought
Mhm.
in turn, and I was
I think
Oh,
that's an
yeah.
encouragement. Is that
super encouraging.
whoever's listening and whoever's going through it is you don't know the baggage, let's say, because our parents were kind of the same. It wasn't till later on in life that I could look back and say, gosh, that was kind of a jacked up marriage, really. That's not
Yeah.
the type of marriage that I want to have. I mean, I felt like I was in a stable home. They both love me, blah, blah, blah. But if I look back and I compare it to what I think a good marriage is now, like
Right.
biblically, blah, 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 I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Or
Right.
maybe even a lot differently.
Right.
However, these two came up in a totally different
Oh, yeah.
situation.
Totally different.
And so by sticking in there, by sticking in, you're changing what they were used to, which was abandonment.
Mhm.
Dad left, divorced,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And I think that's the thing about marriage that doesn't matter if it's the guy or the girl or whatever.
Right.
Staying in there and sticking in there and say, no matter how nasty and gross you are,
Mhm.
it's just like our picture to God.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on you,
Mhm.
little
Yeah.
humans down there.
Right.
As long as you stay in the game, I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not giving up on you.
Yeah.
And it's a great picture.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing. And it took a long time for her to realize this dude's for real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it changed the heart.
Thank
And
goodness,
so
right?
for an audience to listen to this and be like, I don't know if I have it in me. I mean, that is what you need to do is
Yeah,
stay the
you do
course
have it in
because
you.
it's worth it. And then it
Here's the-
changes. The
Mhm.
relationship changes so
It
much.
changes.
It
Changes
goes
how you fight,
180
changes everything.
degrees.
Everything changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys,
Thank
that's
goodness.
awesome. All right. Let's see.
I like that one. Oops,
You
sorry.
like that one? All right, you asked that one.
Okay. So, current day, what are a couple of recurring challenges in your marriage and how do you handle them? Like things that just kind of hang on a little bit and it doesn't mean it's always this knockdown drag out, but it just
Right.
kind of pops up and you're like, oh, we're still dealing with it. Or,
Right.
But I
Is
want to
there
add
anything
something
like
to
that?
that question that she asked, and that is whatever your answer is going to be, can you attribute it to baggage? Just Satan still saying, no, here, just keep on carrying this.
Mhm.
Right.
All right.
Okay, so some baggage that I deal with probably still now to a lesser degree, but I'm still working through it. Me and the Lord, and me, and when I seek out advice or read a book or whatever, is what I went through those first 5 or 7 years.
Mm.
It put up walls.
Uh,
It really, just to survive it. I didn't do everything correctly through that process, and the baggage that brought on to, you know, even today, us dealing with things is very, you know, very non-empathetic, you know, or did I say that right? No, just a lot more rougher around the edges than I probably would have been. You know, so I'm working through that. So the answer to your question is,
oh, that's so interesting.
Do I attribute it to, you know, the things I dealt with from my parents' marriage, and it really wasn't even that bad. It was just the idea of what I thought it was going to look like with me and her. You know, that's gone out the window, even though I still fight for it. But the real baggage, that's not the real baggage for me really much anymore. I'm still working through the first 5 to 10 years of our marriage, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
So for her, she's kind of, that was the hardest time for her, but she's been able to, you know, come through some of that baggage, whereas me, I'm having to, mine's letting that baggage go slowly over time that she's probably having to stick around for, and, you know, so it's kind of a flip-flop,
kind of flip,
if that makes any sense. At least that's my perspective. Right. I don't know her perspective on that, but does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah. It brings up questions, but I want to see what she says, because it might. Yeah.
I feel like this could be a 3-hour easy podcast.
Really?
And
well,
sadly, we just don't have the time.
Yeah, I don't.
We may have to have you back.
Okay, well, we could do that.
I mean, to play into just what he said, you know, how could you not come away with some
scars?
How could you not? So I have empathy for that, to some degree, because to me, I'm like, that's old. Like, we're done. So let's move on. Whereas he probably has,
and I realize that
he has a lot more empathy, I think, than I do. He has had more empathy towards me than I probably have towards him, because I'm like, man up, like, who cares? Let's move on. Like, this is done. Yeah. This is over.
Yeah, be a man.
So I'm, and you are a man. I don't mean it like that.
Man.
Just, you know,
his camo shorts.
Yeah. So I
there's a soft, gooey middle.
Yes,
I think,
there is.
Right there.
He is, and you know, his heart's desire, and I know this about him, and I think that my personality kind of rubs this part of him the wrong way, because he wants me to be pleased and happy, like he does.
Yeah. Sure.
He wants me to be pleased and happy, and he really is like shifting his whole life so that I can be pleased and happy. And because I am such a strong personality, I probably bring up too much, you know, like it might not even be that big of a deal to me, but let's just talk about it. Let's talk through it. Let's talk about it. And for him, I feel like he's like, oh my God, we're talking about something again. She's not happy again. And like, to me, I don't think it's like that big a deal, but he's taken it as.
But I'm getting better at it. Every day I'm getting better.
Expectations?
A little bit of criticism.
Criticisms, expectations. Is that how it is?
Yeah, probably. Really for both of us. And we can talk about this now. Like, we know where we're at, you know, now we're working through it way better than we've ever done that before. But it's just a different kind of working through it. But we know exactly where we're at, where we need to work on, what we need to
So let me ask
going.
you this question. It brings up a question, because I thought about myself about this, and I brought this up at a couple podcasts ago. When you were growing up, were you held to a high standard?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of info right there that has nothing to do with her.
Let me say it was probably more me holding myself to that standard than it was
and
my
your
parents.
firstborn.
I was firstborn.
Unfortunately, that happens.
I still feel that way. I still feel very like I have to win. I have to win, and I have to never give up, and I have to. I put the pressure more on myself.
Right.
I think, but I will say, my growing up, it was very results oriented.
Yeah.
Well, 3 boys too.
Well, you know, my dad's very results very results oriented, and he got the most. I got the best of my dad when I did really good results.
Yeah.
And when I didn't, he actually did pretty good then. I think it was more me, like I just felt like I was letting
him down, even though he wasn't expecting
everybody down, you know.
Well, and you don't know as a kid when you hear what your parents say to you. really how you're like mentally. How do you take that?
Right.
Like they say it this way, you receive it this way.
But they
Right.
really meant it that way.
Yeah.
The intention was good.
Right.
Like my example, and this goes
So true.
exactly the same way. Like the first how many ever years of our marriage, it was just like expectations. You're not meeting my expectations, and so forth, so on. You're not meeting my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't. It's impossible. I'm not Jesus.
I
I
know.
can't do
Yeah.
it. Like I can't do it.
Can't.
However, it was also going to my core that when I was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave this example about I put the dishes in the dishwasher. I'm 10 years old. My mom comes in behind me and puts it over here.
Right. Rearranges it.
Like I'm not good enough.
Right.
And the whole thing was the explanation of thank you for putting these in, but the reason I'm going to move this dish is so it gets cleaner in this spot. You don't say that,
Right.
and there's no explanation, even though it's like, oh, here, honey, let me just put it here. Like, what? I'm not good enough? I didn't put it in the right spot?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
That builds up. That forms who you are.
It's like a
Right.
subliminal.
And so if you grow
Right.
up like that, and then you marry someone like that,
Mm-hmm. It brings up everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
and so it's going to be the natural tendency to say to yourself, the lie, I'm not enough,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And so that's what you deal
'Cause-
with
yeah,
now,
'cause
right?
if we get
And
in-
so it might be not a big deal to her,
Right.
but to you,
Right.
you're hearing it
Right. Yeah,
differently
yeah.
because maybe I grew up for 20 years
Yeah.
with just little slices,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
tiny little paper cuts,
Right.
and that's all it was.
And that's probably
Super interesting.
baggage.
It is.
from growing up as a kid
For
with your
sure,
parents too. I
for
mean,
sure,
that's
for
not-
sure. And of course, your parents, like you said, your parents do the very best they can. How are they raised?
Right.
How are their parents raised?
Right.
Bam, bam, bam. All we
Mhm.
do as parents is
Mhm.
try to
Do
look
the
to the
best we
word
can.
Mhm.
and do the very best we can,
Right.
constantly trying to improve, constantly reading,
Mhm.
as you're saying, how do I get better? How do I pass on to my
Right.
kids the least amount of baggage
Yes.
as possible so they can pass on less to my
Right.
grandkids someday?
Right.
I mean, that's the goal.
That's right.
Now, I know, we're much more active in trying to do that, our generation
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
than our parents were, and then
Right.
further down.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But it's really cool to just hear and kind of see it unfold, what we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
on that, because that's really what it is. You're hard on yourself.
Right.
And so she's just bringing up something that's,
That's right.
and that's what's crazy too about marriage is completely opposite side of the tracks, completely different types of families.
Mm-hmm.
God, why are you joining us together? Because
Yeah.
I need to be shown glory for what I'm going to do in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. That's
Right.
what he's
Look-
done.
Yeah,
So
you
you
can
guys
see
have-
that. You can see that now.
Now you
Right.
can. And that's
you'll
for
see
the
it in your
audience
children.
to
Right.
say,
Mhm.
here's the joke.
Right.
You're going to be put together with someone who is going to iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
going to be painful. It's going to be whatever, but it's going to be the most beautiful.
It's like a
you know,
refining of each
Yeah.
one's self
Yeah.
It
because
is.
the other person.
It is. And if
Right.
you
just
stick
have to be
together,
unselfish and do
that's
it.
right.
That's all.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Gosh, I love that.
And you have to know that it is going to it is going to be beautiful. You
It
know, when
is.
God says, He makes things beautiful, and in time He makes all things beautiful. And I think that if you can just remember that,
Mhm.
and you can continue to remind yourself of these truths as you're going through what
Yeah.
seems like you're not coming out of it.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, there were
Armageddon.
moments where I'm
Mhm.
like, this is my lot in life. Like
Yeah.
this is my marriage, and this sucks.
Yeah.
And I just am going to be a sticker.
Miserable.
I'm sticking in.
And the
And it
thing
doesn't
is,
have to.
you
Right.
have to do
I love that
something
you
though
said-
about it.
I love that you brought up and reiterated that God's will for us and God's perfection of what he wants our marriage to be.
Mhm.
I love that you say that, to constantly remind yourself of that, because you're leaning on God. Does
Mhm.
God lie? No. Do we trust him? Yes. But we don't actively trust him when we start doing what we want to do, and
Right.
this kind of stuff happens. And so I love that reminder of trust God. Trust God. You still have to fight and
Yeah.
get in there because things aren't easy,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
he won't let us down. He never has.
Mhm.
So why would we then think that he just let our marriage down
Hmm.
Right.
when he's helped so many others? You just have
And
to
you're
work.
going to have to work.
Yeah,
You
if
do have to do
if
that. You can't just
get in the
pray and
mud.
say, make
Right.
it better,
No.
but I'm
Right.
not going to do
You have to
anything.
work.
Right.
And you're going to
We'll dig into
work.
that
everything
baggage.
in life.
Yeah, and you're going to work.
100%
If
true.
you leave, if
That's
I
exactly
left
He
right.
could if he wanted to, but it's
I
like
know.
saying, "Hey, will you give
And
me an
move
A on
on.
this test?" But I'm
I'd
not
still
going to
have to
study
work.
for it.
Right.
Exactly. For sure.
I mean, he could give you an A on the test without studying for it, but chances are,
No, put the work in.
yeah.
And that's the point too, is you go to counseling, you do self-help, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
All right. Jen.
Oh, no, not me. Me?
Yes.
No, I asked. We're
Right there.
oh.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
We got time.
Wow.
We got time.
interpretation.
Captain says we have
All
time.
right, 'cause-
Let's
okay.
go, baby.
So I like this
It's
question.
important.
I like this. I think this is important. From what we know, you have 3, boys,
Mhm.
and you guys, I think, because I see your Instagram, work with the youth, high schoolers. You're very involved. So what challenges do you see in today's world in working with the youth that you'd kind of like to, speak to? What are some hot buttons, some things that you're just like, gosh, the kids need to grasp this, or whatever it is? What would you?
Probably a lot to say,
Yeah,
right?
there's probably a lot.
And
but
so
what are
from
some-
our perspective, we haven't raised kids in a long time.
Right.
And you guys are in the process of raising kids, plus you're serving with the youth
Right.
now. Everything's changed from what I hear, right?
from when we
It's
worked with them.
changing faster than it has ever changed before.
So speak into that.
The burn of my heart, specifically for the high schoolers, because that's where I'm most involved, is just for them to understand how much the Lord loves them and that they can step out of shame.
Mm.
And I feel like a lot of them, maybe from choices that they've made in their past or things that they're actively doing, whether looking at pornography or, just stepping into spaces that is not really God's will for their life, that they can shake this stuff off and that they can step out of that without shame and know that they're covered. And I think that concept is very hard to grasp.
Especially at that age.
Yeah.
It's hard at our age.
But that's my
right?
desperation for them, is to know these chains don't have to be here.
Right.
This doesn't have to be. This is just a small part of your story. It's not the best part of your story. It's a small part of your story, and you can shake off this shame.
Mm.
And I think when I see these, just the depression or the anxiety that they live with, or wanting to take their own lives, like I just think, man, this does not how it is, that this is not how it is. So my prayer, I lead worship up there a lot, is that the Lord would break the yokes, break these chains off of their life, and know that just if they make a mistake, it seems like if they make mistakes, they're so stuck.
Yeah.
They're just they can't let it go, and they don't understand the redeeming power of Jesus and the covering and as far as the east is to the west, their sins being removed. I don't think that they grasp.
Right.
Some of them do, but I don't think they grasp that. I think if we could really grasp exactly the way that the Father views them and sees them, it would change. It would change them.
Wow.
It would change the whole generation to have an understanding of the wretch that you are and the saving power of Jesus. There's nothing like it.
Right. It's like the enemy loves to whisper in all our ears, but because we're talking about the youth, that when you have that guilt and shame, that just you keep living in it and you keep beating yourself up for it. And then that leads you down another path and then another path. And it's, look at it as stepping stones. Okay, I learned that sucked. I was a loser for a day. Okay, I did that. So I'm going to pick myself back up and I'm going to walk in the freedom that Christ gave me, what he suffered for, horribly suffered for. But it's hard sometimes, because even at my age, with my yucky sins back then, I mean, not like I don't sin now, but they were much more horrific back then. They'll sneak up, and every once in a while the enemy will whisper, and I'll be like, oh, here we go. So I think a big thing too is helping anybody, but youth, you have to stay armed. You have to keep that armor on. 2 minutes. Take 2 minutes and pray. Take 2 minutes and read something. Just something to, to keep yourself armed. But that's.
I mean, if you think you're trash, then you're going to act like trash, right?
Right.
If you don't think you're trash, you're going to act differently. And that's really what it boils down to. It's no different in my life or any of our lives. If you think if you don't see yourself as righteous through the blood of Christ, even though I'm a sinner, I'm still righteous. That's not the way God sees me.
Right.
That's right.
Well, that makes me feel good right there.
Yeah.
I'm righteous. I'm getting out of this sin, as opposed to I'm just in it, no good.
Right.
I'll just keep going.
That's right.
Speak truth to yourself.
Exactly.
You're still the son of the Most
You
High.
have to speak truth. And how do you speak truth? You've got to get into the Word and know what the truth says, or
That's
you're not
right.
going to know it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to know it.
You won't.
Your friends aren't going to tell you.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we're going to end up here. We're going to finish up here with our little segment called How Not to Skid Off the Runway.
Okay.
Best advice. All right. You get about a minute or so, whatever, 30 seconds to a minute to answer these 5 questions. And you can go. Social media usage. Best advice for people out there with social media usage. Go.
Best advice for their using it amongst their family or special.
What is
just
your
whatever
total
for,
advice
for
in-
myself?
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
Well, social media
Okay.
usage.
I think social media is a good thing. I definitely think people should be aware of who they're around. If somebody's, we try to install this into our kids. Hey, if you're sitting in a room with somebody, if they're on their phone or not, you need to be ready to go at any moment to have a conversation, to talk. If you just be aware of your surroundings and don't just be sitting here doing this where you don't you miss out on a relationship, or you miss out on because building relationships gives you self-worth in a lot of ways, and a lot of kids today, they don't have no self-worth because they have no relationships, or they don't know how to have relationships unless it's through a phone,
Right.
which is fake
Yeah.
because you're idolizing.
And generally, social
present.
media doesn't
Be
lift
present.
you up, right?
Yeah, it don't. I mean, it can, if,
Right.
But yeah, in general, no, and just be aware of pattern interrupting things in your life. So, if just be aware of it and notice, like, oh man, he's really not ever on his phone, and I just kind of let me put that down for a second.
Yeah.
Or
Being
All
present.
right, Des. Best advice in regards to going through family issues.
My best advice, I know it sounds churchy, but I'm just getting better at this, and it's just pausing and praying and asking the Lord for wisdom and not panicking. Like, just not panicking. I tend to want to panic. He tends to fly a lot straighter than I do. And just not panic and know that I can ask the Lord and he will not rebuke me in asking him for wisdom. So if there's family issues, Lord, I need your help. I mean, I'm desperate. I can't do it without you.
Good. All right. Best advice when it comes to money.
money. Money. They say that money is the number one reason for divorce, but the number one reason for divorce is marriage. And so, I had to throw that in
That
there.
is
That's good.
awesome,
That's
man.
good.
That'll be a hot
money
take
would
right
probably
there.
be number 2.
Okay.
So
Oh my gosh. That's
money, I've heard it said that there's one way to do it for married couples. I've heard people say, hey, this is the way it needs to be done. And I've also heard people say, you need to figure out what works for y'all. For me and Des, we just kind of found what works for us. And it doesn't work all the time, but we're constantly, that's constant adjusting.
And talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, we talk about it. It's definitely something that needs to be talked about from the beginning stages before you get married and kind of figure some things out, because it's you're going to be broke at times, and you need to be able to function with a clear head through that brokenness because it's rough, it's hard.
is.
It's hard.
Oh gosh.
All right.
It is.
Best advice when it comes to dealing with stress. Whoever wants to take that one.
Because you guys probably handle stress differently.
We do.
do
Right.
very
Mhm.
differently, very differently. I tend to be a general. Paul's a little more honed in, like on specifics.
Okay.
He likes very detail oriented, very specific. To me, I am in dealing with stress. I almost have to let go of all the specifics because that stresses me out. And I have to just go, I do trust you. And I've seen you show up in my life over and over and over again. And I know you're going to show up now. So I'm very general, like just, okay, God.
That goes with the man and woman thing. Fixer.
A little bit.
Let's deal with what it is. Exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Let's fix that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right.
Like he
just
will
shove it all
ask
over.
so many questions.
Right.
I'm like, I'm tired. I don't
Right,
even know
right.
why you're asking me all these questions. My gosh. And and to me, I'm like, I've already solved it. It's gonna be fine. God's taking care of it. And he's like,
And that goes back to the to this podcast where we're talking about brutally honest, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're just da-da." She knows exactly what to do, and I'm like, "Okay, when they say brutally honest, do they mean like that
like,
means
oh my
there's so many
God.
different things, like what you know what I mean?"
That's why we need to have you guys on again.
And she was like, "You're wearing me out. Quit thinking
I'm like,
about it
I
so
don't
much."
know.
Just show up
be
and
who
be.
you are. Be honest.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, faith. Best advice when dealing with your faith.
Seek the Lord. Don't stop seeking the Lord. Believe that his word is true and that it is living and active and that it is the anchor and it is the helper and it will lead you and guide you. It will light, it's a light unto your path. I will freak out and scream.
I will freak out
Okay,
too.
we
I
got
will
2
too.
girls that don't like bugs. Okay.
He's gone. He flew
Okay,
out the
thank
window.
you.
Final
Jesus.
question. What, as a couple, as a couple, what is the greatest lesson over your 20 years that God has taught you as a couple?
That's a big one.
I did have an answer for this.
I don't even know
I'm
if
trying
I
to
can
remember
answer
what it
right
was.
now.
Well,
I'm like-
my greatest lesson is that he is God's plan and provision for my life. He is. And that might not look like what I thought it should look like, but it's exactly perfect for me. And that if somebody were to come to me today and say, here, let's put all these flaws and all these awesome things about every man in our church and put them in this basket and you can pick one, I'd be like, oh, no.
Right.
I'll take Paul. Give me him and give me all his flaws and give me all his awesome things about him.
Yeah.
And I want him back because I know that God put us together and
That's awesome.
that
It's perfect.
I can I can handle it, and with him I can handle it, and with Paul I can handle it, and I that's the biggest lesson that he is for me and I'm better with him.
I love that.
And mine is very similar in the fact that when first I never saw myself with her. Like, even after we got married, I was still like, man, I wanted to be like, I made a mistake. Like, I knew that I would, and my biggest takeaway or what I've learned is that God knows more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And, very almost same thing. I have know that my plans, because I tend to want whatever I want and I go after it and I chase it and I'm very non-forgiving about it, and a lot of times they don't work out and it really ticks me off, and then I'm ticked off at God, I'm ticked off at my wife, I'm ticked off at everybody, and then it's finally like, okay, God, well, that wasn't for me. You know better, and so I have gotten to the point, I think I was there before she was, but not that means anything. But
it's not a competition.
No, I know. but what I've taken away, what I've learned the most is that God knows better than me. He protects me. He gives me what I need when I don't even see it. And Desiree was a big answer to prayer for not just me, for people in my life, that my parents that have been praying for my wife for a long time. You know what I mean? So it's when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, my parents, like, they prayed this and they knew my parents knew what I needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I can go back and remember some of those prayers that my mom would pray that I didn't really think about. And she was in line. She was probably more in line with God on what her son needed than I was. You know what I mean? So I look back and I can just see so many.
That's awesome.
God in all of it.
Gosh, I feel like there's still so much more to unpack with you guys. We
might
really,
have to have
we
a
really
Paul
would
and
love to
Des
have you back
number
if you
2.
would come back.
Oh yeah.
Dash 2.
Because
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2. Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah. Because I do, and I know you probably do too.
Oh, I got
More-
a billion questions. I can sit here
ton
for
of
5 hours
questions.
and
Yeah,
ask you
we
guys
could too.
questions.
We love it.
Yeah, I just do. Just the fact. I just have just the fact that, like, I'm thinking right now, and I'm sure you guys probably have prayed for our kids on who God is going to bring into their life one day, and
Right.
it's like back then you knew your mom and dad were praying, and Des comes along, and I don't know. This is another episode where how much did she know of what was going on with you guys? How bad did she think it was? And then it's just the fact that in her mind,
Oh, my mom.
it probably challenged her faith too, because she's like, I prayed for this, and this is what you sent. I mean, I love her, but gosh, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
I
just
do.
so much to that.
So much.
Yeah. So,
much.
we're
Yeah.
gonna, well, and we want to have you back so we can talk about
Yeah.
your kids and raising boys and what's that like.
Right.
And we have a lot more questions for you.
Okay.
But we'll do it soon. But because the podcast is like a taking off, and we're both airline people, we like to give our guests, because you guys give of your time, and it's pretty cool. Just a little, you don't have to open it now, but just a little something from, this might be from the island of Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Awesome.
So you go home and enjoy
Thank
that,
you.
and we thank you so much, you guys.
Thank
so,
you for
so
having
much
us.
for
Thanks.
coming
This was
on,
fun.
being
Yeah.
open and
Having us.
honest, and
Yeah.
we'll get you again.
As always, like, subscribe. Captain says gear down, clear land. We'll see you next time.